You're listening to the Unshackle Your Life podcast with Debbie Colburn, the place to break through all of the hidden things that hold each of us back, things that scare us and things that challenge us, and things we're just plain fed up with. We talk all things money and business, big and small. We dive deep, we get real, and we get raw, discovering and exploring what is really possible for you. It's a restart. If you've ever struggled with shame, worry, or just plain self-doubt, if you've ever thought it's not enough when you looked at your bank account or your credit card, if you're sick and tired of living a cycle of crisis to crisis to crisis, no matter whether it's in your personal life, in your business, or your relationships, then this is where you need to be. We'll bring you new ideas, tips, and tactics, and connect you to the resources to get you unlocking your own shackles and release your unique abilities. No matter what's going on in your life right now, maybe you're in survival mode, just barely getting by, living day-to-day, paycheck to paycheck. Maybe you're in a job or a career or running a business that is leaving you on empty, depleted, uninspired, or anything in between. I've got your back. Ready? So buckle on up, take a deep breath, and join me in a conversation about jump-starting your life and breaking free of your shackles and create that thing that you've been scared to ask for. Welcome to episode 87. Are you making what you really believe you're worth? Tough question to answer if you don't really know what you're worth, isn't it? You could be doing better. You know it in your heart, don't you? What's my value? Per hour? Per day? Month? Year? How do I figure that out? What if others tell me I'm too expensive? What if it scares the shit out of me to tell people what I know my real value is? In real, honest dollars. This is one of the biggest problems facing people, no matter what sex, income level, or where you live. It's the underpinning of the starving artist moniker. I suffered from it for years, and I bet you do too. You'll know because there's a feeling inside, and sometimes that can feel like resentment. Sometimes it feels like a leaky bucket. No matter how much water you put in it, it never gets full. And sometimes it just feels plain icky. The truth is, it never feels light or energetic or vibrant. So why do we hang on to being an under-earner? Well, there's 4 reasons, really. The first would be a story you're telling yourself. Let's call that a limiting belief. That you have to stay under some generational or family income ceiling. In our family, $70,000 is it. It was my dad's. It was mine. It's my sister's, my brother's, and recently I discovered it also happens to be my 40-year-old son's. Yours might be $50,000. It might be in the low or the mid or the high 6 figures. It might even be in the millions. But you are always worth more. It's not greedy. It's reality. Because you're up-leveling as you go along. And maybe it's the second one is maybe it's the industry that you're in, that we're in. I want to just look at the dog training and the dog grooming industries, or cat, or whatever, but those 2 industries in particular. The hourly rates haven't changed much in decades, and so many of those people are worth 4, 5, even 10 times what they charge, and they are barely breaking the poverty line. And yet, the pet industry spends mega billions. People will spend insane amounts of money, and I know that's a money belief that in using that word, on their dogs. Yet to have them groomed? It's rare. I know. I was one of those people on that end, and I resented every minute of it. No matter what I charged someone, they always inferred that it was too much, and it was nowhere near what my value was. Nowhere, not even in the same stratosphere. And so is my amazing dog groomer. She fights me if I want to pay her more, to bring it up to what she's worth to me and to Moment. The third would be your individual thinking about money, your beliefs about money, your money story that you don't even know you have, aka your money blocks. We all have them, no matter how much we make. $12,000 a year, $85,000 a year, $250,000 a year. There's subconscious money thinking that you are not aware, that's always running on autopilot. And it scares the shit out of us. We're doing okay. Ever caught yourself saying that? Or we're getting by. Our comfort zone is not so uncomfortable as to self-propel us to shake things up in our lives. Oh my God, I don't want to rock the boat. My husband would kill me if I screwed his financial system up. It'll get better. Everybody else is in the same position. No, they're not. Not everybody. So I hear your question. How do I know if I'm an under-earner? Well, let me ask you a few questions, and you can come up with your own answer. It's either a yes or a no. Do the needs of others come first most often? Ever thought, I'm proud of my ability to make do with very little, out of necessity? Do you regularly raise your prices or ask for a raise? Do you sabotage yourself by changing jobs frequently, applying for jobs that are below you, create drama at work, eat or spend when you're bored or stressed? Do you barter instead of asking to be paid, or work hours on a project or job and then underbill? You feel stress and worry around money regularly. There's a big in capital letters, I wonder, what are you thinking? If you answered even one of those with a yes, then you are likely an under-earner. So just to be clear on what under-earning really is, Barbara Stanny says it is earning less than your potential, despite the need or desire to do otherwise. And it is not the same as voluntary simplicity, a conscious choice to live with less to create a simpler, saner life. So I'm a minimalist by choice, and I was a chronic under-earner. I was addicted to my story that you guys have read about in episode 1, and I talk about it all the way through the podcast. I was very, very, very proud of it, of my bounce back ability, and I still am. But I'm not an under-earner anymore. Under-earning affects you negatively in so many ways, yet we become complacent to our situation. We get stuck. We stop thinking bigger. We keep listening to people who tell us how well we're doing, yet our hearts know there is so much more in us. That has got to be one of the most frustrating things to experience and hard to break free from. Money is a tool. You've heard that again and again. It opens doors. It is simply a bridge. It allows more opportunities for you to positively, that's like a crazy big word today for me, positively impact something you deeply care about. It frees you up to be more creative because you have more time to think and to live. It buys tools and books and courses and coaches and masterminds and things that you need to have in your wheelhouse to move to the next income level. I know, some of you are thinking it's greedy to want more, to get it simply for those big material things. I get that. That's a belief you created in your mind. And as a minimalist, I totally get that big houses, fancy cars, big jewelry, shiny new things can be a turnoff, or at least a non-motivator. But the thing that really lights my fire, and why I really leaned into getting this figured out for myself, is other entrepreneurs in third world countries, people who don't have access to what we think of as normal here in North America. I do Kiva, Kiva. They're a micro lender. It's online, super easy, and I support tiny one-person businesses in Southeast Asia and South America. And I'm not sure what yours is, but you will find it, and finding it is one of the keys to start unlocking and getting rid of that under-earning. So my chronic under-earning hurt them because I didn't have the financial resources. Can you imagine not having $25 US a month to be able to contribute? That's ridiculous. It's embarrassing. It's shameful. But that was where I was. My chronic under-earning hurt people I didn't get to meet in my online courses because I didn't have the funds to reach them with my Facebook and Google ads. I just couldn't reach them. My chronic under-earning hurt me because I stuffed food in my face when I was in money stress. Or get this, when I had great days, when things were starting to click, I sabotaged myself. Money blocks are banana nuts sometimes. I so totally don't want that life for you. And I hope you're still with me. We've all heard about the traits of the most successful people and how we just simply need to model those to be successful. Yet, the other side of the coin is traits that an under-earner has that are well-honed habits. We don't even see it in ourselves. And I've already talked about a couple of them. We just don't see them. What will happen in this process as you go through this is that you'll actually start seeing it in other people before you see it in you. But that's awareness. Did you recognize any of the ones I've talked about in you? Now, I bet you guessed the next one. They feel stuck. This is the fourth way you know that you're an under-earner. You feel stuck, out of control, and you defend your situation passionately, and then you try to out-excuse and deflect the reality of your situation. And yes, I know this one is right on the tip of your tongue. That's right. It's everybody else's fault. And we're just waiting for that proverbial knight in shining armor to ride in and save our bank accounts or our credit cards or our overdue loan. That shining knight was my family. My mom specifically. My enabler. For some people, it's the government. It's taxes. It's billionaires. They should help me. No. You should help you. I know, it's harsh, right? But I told you, real and raw. I've been through this. I know how this feels to be a chronic under-earner. Did you know that you are an under-earner because you are writing that script yourself? Hour by hour, day by day, choice by choice. And there is always a through line, like every great movie. And it kind of goes like this. Do all the work, be qualified for the job or the contract you really think you want, submit the application, and you get the job. Or you don't get the job, but it kind of follows the same thing. And then you start finding issues with the people that you work with. You start bitching about the mess in the office kitchen, you're missing deadlines when you have this, and this is, like I said, it's banana nuts. You miss deadlines when you have 99% of your project complete. You start sending abrupt emails and texts to coworkers like you can't even take that 24 hours and go, oh, that I probably shouldn't say that because you're creating drama. Yeah, I know. It's one of the most complex things we do, but we sabotage ourselves. We create the damn drama. I didn't see myself as doing that until till years later, till I was able to step back and go, holy crap, that was me. Yeah, they were responding, but I started it. I threw the first ball. I really, really don't like drama, but as life would have it, looking back in all of my corporate positions as a consultant, and on the occasion where I was actually an employee, I was the one who drove the train off the tracks. Me, myself, and I, in partner with my self-sabotages. So my mom has always believed that making yourself invaluable was the way to get promoted and to keep your job. That's a generational thing. But dropping everything to help someone else, relegating yourself and your needs to the back seat, breeds codependency. Over my corporate career, I've worked with a number of not-for-profits, NGOs, whatever you want to call them in the country that you're in. And I can tell you, the lack of alignment with my personal values was an immense weight on me. Everyone trying to do mastery level work. Well, maybe not everyone, but pretty much most everybody trying to do mastery level work, making a big impact while getting paid what might be best labeled and still to this day in 2021 slave wages, and believing that that was the only way that they could make impact. It's what I call an under-earner's buffet. Sadly, there is no better phrase to describe one of the strongest characteristics of an under-earner than paycheck to paycheck, crisis to crisis. This is what I call an addiction to survival mode, and it sucks big time. Regardless of how much your family income is, like any addiction, it can happen at any income level. When you're trying to survive, you miss out on life. Literally. And I'm sorry if you've listened to those budget gurus or someone like Val Vaz-Oxlade, creator of the Till Debt Do Us Part reality show, and the many, many books you see in Indigo and Barnes and Noble, who tell you, find things that you can do for free. Or David Bach and his Latte Factor, or Dave Ramsey or Susie Orman. That is not a permanent solution. It is a Band-Aid. It will not stick if you do not address your money blocks, your money thinking. It just reminds you how limited your under-earnings reach can be stretched. They can't. You have no stretch. So now you're going without. You can't enjoy dinner out. You can't order anything that you would really love to have. You're always looking for the cheapest item on the menu. Ever been there? Even if McDonald's is your limit this quarter? Yeah. You can't afford to take a sick day, even if you are desperately sick. Anybody relate? The fundamental flaw that was revealed by the COVID pandemic was the lack of sick days in most companies, the need to choose me or the kids. You desperately needed vacation days in a really small, sucky small 2-week or 3-week pot when you're sick. And millions of people suffered because of this. But the reality is they suffered because they were chronic under-earners. So I had a little rant. Okay, that was my little rant about the budget and the debt gurus, but listen to me really, really, really carefully. If you don't know exactly how much you have today in every little place, bank accounts, wallet, gift cards, PayPal, Apple Pay, Google Wallet, investments, crypto, jar on the counter, pockets. If you don't know exactly how much you owe to everyone, credit cards, loans, mortgage, IOUs to friends, unpaid bills, bank drafts, taxes, insurance. If you don't know exactly what expenses and bills you have coming in every month. Like, guys, in a money coaching group that I'm in, people on a regular basis post, I got an unexpected tax bill. No, it wasn't unexpected. You were just ignoring it. None of them are unexpected. If you're on top of your numbers, these are not unexpected. If you don't know exactly what the minimum income that you have coming in is and when, every single penny, then you are in avoidance. An ostrich with their head stuck 30 feet buried in the sand. You are screwing yourself. Nobody else is screwing you. You are. And there are a couple more. But here's what I want you to hear. All of these are your fear talking, your what ifs. I've been there. In my decade of poverty, I was tethered to my disdain of the collection agencies and absolutely didn't give a crap about my embarrassingly low credit score. And yes, I recognize that the credit score process right now is busted. I've had days, weeks, even years where, even as a professional accountant, I simply couldn't bring myself to look at it or my empty bank account. I just kept those numbers as a ballpark figure in my head. And you can pretty much guess how that worked out for me, right? I was scared to accept that I was screwed financially. That I was a well-paid accountant, at least that's what my beliefs told me. Remember that $70K ceiling? I danced on the edge of bankruptcy numerous times during that decade of poverty. But the one thing I was courageous about was that I knew that I could somehow or other, no matter how long it took me, I could figure this money thing out. And I could dig myself out and keep myself out and keep growing. And that I could do it in a way that would positively impact both of my kids so that they didn't mirror my life decisions. The question is now, what are you going to do? Can you honestly answer the question, am I an under-earner? And if the answer is yes, the question that is now, what are you going to do to start changing that? Here's a hint. Take inventory. I've given you all the tools in this episode to get started on this. So, here we are. We're at the end. It's the time for the question I ask everyone at the end of each episode. Take your time. Give it some thought. What is the worst thing that could happen if you unlock just one of your shackles today? Hey, if this podcast got you thinking, please make sure you're subscribed and share it with anyone who needs to hear this. The link is in the show notes, and please drop us a review on whatever podcast player that you're listening on, whether it's Apple Podcasts, whether it's Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, you name it. And make sure that you drop over to our website, debbiecolburn.com/links/ that's DEBBIECOLBOURN.com/links/ to get our brand new 7-day quick action guide and to check out what's coming up in 2022. And please make sure that you're following us on LinkedIn and on Instagram, just to keep you on your toes, has a slightly different name, at MS Debbie Colburn.